Welcome to Ipiales, a border town right on the southern border of Colombia with Ecuador, and a little beautiful charming town actually located in the mountains of southern Colombia. This is a town that's often actually probably forgotten when people talk about traveling through Colombia, but it is definitely a town that's worth it. There are a bunch of kids here from Colombia. It's a tiny little town, but there are just so many incredible people here. So this is how you go ahead and start off a tour of Ipiales Colombia. This is a border town, and it's not a town that a lot of people go to, so they don't really get exposure to a lot of foreigners. It's not like Medellin or Cartagena where you get so many tourists. Ipiales is kind of off the touristy route. We're gonna get out of town first, so we need to figure out the transportation situation, so let's go ahead and get that figured out first. Las Lajas. Son 3,400, ¿sí?
Sí, señor.
We managed to get on a vehicle, and fortunately I'm the last person there, so I didn't have to wait very long. And now we're on our way out of town. We are now officially out of Ipiales, and we've come to a place known as Las Lajas. It's a little town nestled in the mountains, and actually along the way here, you'll see we are literally in the mountains, and we are so close to the border that yes, a lot of the land that you're seeing is Colombian territory, but if you look a little farther to the mountains in the back, that's Ecuador. So that is exactly how close we are to the border. You can literally see Ecuador from the road leading to Las Lajas. But Las Lajas is famous for the sanctuary. It has a very long history, and we'll tell you more about it as we keep going down. But for now, as you can see, you've got this entire walkway down into the valley. It's located within the valley. It's a sanctuary, it's a church that's located within a cliffside. So what we gotta do is we gotta walk down and head to the place, which means that walking up is probably gonna be difficult, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. Aren't you so cute? Aren't you so cute? Oh, you're so cute. It might look like we got blue skies over there, but it's literally raining on me right now. Like, I literally feel raindrops. I think the clouds are moving that way, but if they're moving this way, it's gonna get a lot heavier in terms of rain. So let's hope it doesn't rain here. But this part of the country does rain quite a bit during the day. That's why you see so much greenery. That's why the mountains are so green. It's not like Peru where it's just a desert. There's a lot of greenery for a reason, and that's simply because, you know, the rain comes and the soil is fertile, and that extends all the way down to Ecuador as well. So that's just the climate that we have to make do with. As we're walking down, you can already see there's a waterfall right over there, and it's pretty brownish color. That's because we're in the rainy season, and during the rainy season, the water is not the clearest. It's pretty muddy and it's pretty brown. But that just tells you how there's a river that runs through here. There's rain here, and it's just, we're really immersed in nature, just like 30 minutes away from the center of Ipiales. Right behind me is the Casa de los Peregrinos, and actually it's kind of like a hotel today. But the thing is, many years ago, before this was actually a hotel, this was the house of the pilgrims, Casa de los Peregrinos. And why were there pilgrims? Well, because this place is not just a church, it's actually a historical religious site that attracts Christian pilgrims from Latin America to visit the site all the time. So it's not just a pretty place, it is a very pretty place, but more than that, it brings in tourism, it brings in religious adherents from all over Latin America, because this has a very interesting history. But just interesting to note that this is the hotel that used to be the House of the Pilgrims many years ago when people first started doing their pilgrimages to this place. But we're gonna go down and I'm gonna tell you more about this site. We have made it to the view that everybody talks about here in Colombia. It's actually popping off everywhere. This is Santuario Las Lajas, one of the most incredible, beautiful churches, I would say, in all of Latin America. The history behind this church is actually I should call it a sanctuary. That's the correct name for it. The history behind the sanctuary is very interesting. So apparently, there was an image of Virgen del Rosario, an image of the Virgin, and it was discovered here. And apparently, there was this mother-daughter combination, and this daughter who saw the thing, or she was blind and deaf, but when she saw it, she was able to hear again, and she was able to understand what was going on. So it's like it cured her almost. The image of the Virgin is at least what the rumor is. If that's true or not, nobody knows. It happened a long time ago. It happened in the 1700s, so it happened a long time ago. But in memory of that, there's actually a statue of the mother and the daughter at the entrance of Las Lajas. That gives you sort of a peek into the history of this place. Now, after that whole story happened, the word spread very quickly, and they decided they needed to build a sanctuary here, which is why the sanctuary is built here. It's said that the Virgin herself appeared here. That's what the rumor is. Of course, nobody can confirm it, but because this is such a holy site that the Virgin appeared here, it was then decided that this would be a sanctuary, and that's why pilgrims from all over the world actually come to this cathedral to look at it, to explore it, and they make a pilgrimage to this site because it is such a holy place here in Latin America. This is the image of the mother and daughter I was talking about, and they actually tell you here, it talks about the history of how Maria, the daughter, came back and says that she was being called after seeing the Virgin. So that's why this place is holy, and they actually have a statue to sort of commemorate that right here at the entrance to the church. Now what you see behind me is a bunch of square rocks with writing on it, all of different sizes and shapes. This is because people have donated to Las Lajas, and they've sort of done their prayer, they've sort of paid homage to the Virgen de las Lajas, or the Virgin of Las Lajas, because this area is called Las Lajas, for something that's happened in their life, or just to pay homage. So there's one, I remember there's one that was like, thank you, the Virgin of Las Lajas, for saving my family and I from a car accident. So that's something that somebody might want to donate money here for, to get it up here. Whereas other people are like, oh, this is an organization here from the city, we just want to donate money to Las Lajas. So a lot of different motivations for all these little rectangular rocks behind me, but they're all trying to pay homage and dedicate themselves to Virgen Las Lajas, which is the Virgin that supposedly appeared right here in Colombia. The crypts of Las Lajas. I have to be quiet because this place is actually supposed to be completely silent. People come for prayers, and as you can see, the colors in here are incredible. The actual stone itself is black. There's nothing to it. It's very plain. However, add light in it to give it beautiful color. You've got stained glass behind you. You can see that is just incredible. But definitely come check out the crypts, because it's a really quiet and nice silent place to be. So it turns out that the story I told you isn't actually complete. A girl, remember, she was deaf, she couldn't speak, then she suddenly said something, and that, you know, how the Virgen del Rosario, all of that. They actually went to Ipiales and told everyone, but nobody really believed them until the daughter passed away. And they then did a pilgrimage to the cave below next to the river where they had originally found the Virgin, and sure enough, all the people who had gone with the pilgrims, those from Ipiales who had joined them, actually saw La Virgen de las Lajas. And that's when people were like, oh, this actually happened and they actually believed the story. And that's when this place became really, really important as a pilgrimage site, because that was the first pilgrimage after the daughter's death. Her name was Rosa. That death led to the first pilgrimage to the cave where they actually saw the Virgin. But as you can see behind me, we are now in front of the actual sanctuary itself. There's actually quite a lot of things to see. There's this place, the room with all the candles. That's a pretty classic thing. There's also a place with holy water. We'll explore that later. But first, let's go ahead and let's enter the actual sanctuary itself. This is the thing that everybody comes to Ipiales for. So let's see how it is on the inside. To be honest, I was a little bit surprised by the interior of the church. I didn't expect them to paint everything white and have sort of golden ornamentation. I thought they would keep the sort of dark rock face that you see on the outside, just like within the crypts that we saw earlier. But they haven't done that. They've completely changed it. I will say, the one thing that is special about this church is that on the inside, at the very back of the church, at the very end, you can literally see how the church is built into a rock face. Like, there's literally rocks at the end of the church, and that's because if you look at it, it is literally built into a cliff. The church is built right on that cliff, so they have no choice. They had to leave the rock face there. But so many people are praying. Like, people actually come here to make a pilgrimage to this site. It is such a holy, religious, and important site for Christians here in Latin America. I don't think I realized how important it was until I actually got here and saw how many people are traveling from all over Latin America to come to this place. So definitely I'm surprised by that. I'm surprised by how important this place is. But let's go ahead and keep walking around the area. If you want the perfect Instagram shot, you're gonna have to just move a little bit farther down, and then you get to this point. This is what everybody is talking about on Instagram. This is the photo you see of the church. And I have to say, from here, it does look incredible. You can see how the church is literally built on a cliffside. And the fact that the bridge literally crosses it is pretty insane. Unfortunately, I don't know if you can tell, but it is raining and is getting heavier and heavier, which is unfortunate. But that's the weather here. Sometimes it'll rain and it'll suddenly become super, super sunny, and then it'll rain again. So you just gotta bear with it when you're in Colombia. You can't really ask for the weather to be perfect. You just gotta wait it out and wait for the sun to come out. Like, I'm pretty sure this rainstorm will stop in like 15 minutes. So after that, we're gonna go ahead and keep exploring this area. Now, of course, Las Lajas is not just about the church. Remember, this church is literally situated in the middle of a valley, which means that there are a lot of things to actually see around here, such as this waterfall right here. This is Cascadas Las Lajas. This is a waterfall. It's actually a really small waterfall. Actually, there's another waterfall that when we were entering through here, you saw that was a really dark brown one that was going really, really fast. This is a smaller waterfall, but on the opposite side, you see that famous church. So it's literally just around the valley, around the curve, you get this incredible waterfall. Now, like I said, it's not the strongest waterfall, it's not a really big waterfall, but this place, I said, is full of nature, and right below this area is a sort of nature park that you can walk around, you can enjoy. There's actually like a little playground for kids to enjoy their time here. So yes, Las Lajas is a pilgrimage site, it's a church, but for locals who live around here, for locals who live in Ipiales, it's more of like a fun day trip. Because not only are there things to do sort of just to enjoy nature, but there's also food stands, there's cafeterias, there's a place where you can sit down and get a coffee, get a snack. So all of these things make this place more of a very, very welcoming tourist site rather than just a religious pilgrimage site, which is why I really like it. You're immersed in nature and you're enjoying all that this place has to offer. Well, we've made it to the bottom of the park, and I'm literally standing on a bridge right on top of the river. That is crazy, and it's moving so fast. It's dark brown in color, and it's moving so fast. If you look behind me, you've got the church right up there. And I have to say, actually, I prefer the view from down here. The view up there is nice, but as you're coming down along the natural sort of park path, it gives you an incredible view of the church. It is beautiful, and actually now with the sun coming out, the rain has stopped and it's starting to get a little hot again. So like I said, the weather here at Ipiales changes every minute, every second, so just be prepared for anything when you come here. But this is basically the end point of our tour here in Las Lajas. It's beautiful, it genuinely is. If you look at that church, you see how tall, how far above the river level it is, and it sort of makes you marvel at the architectural wonder that is this church that they've managed to build literally into a cliffside. It's impressive, and I feel like it's something that a lot of people often skip here in Colombia, but definitely when you're here, Ipiales is a stop that you should make. I saw a tiny little path right down the bridge, and it actually leads you to the river. I think this is a little local secret. I see only locals here going down to the water and sort of bathing or washing their feet, but everyone's still stuck up there. No one's actually coming down. But it's pretty cool that you can actually come down here. I don't know if this is the cleanest or clearest water. I mean, look at the color. It doesn't really look like it's the most appetizing color to swim in, but nonetheless, it's cool that you can come down here and actually get to the river if you want to. But from here, you can't see the church anymore because the rock face here is blocking the view of the church. So unfortunately, no church view, but you can see the waterfall on the other side, and that's the waterfall that we were at earlier, that the tiny little one that sort of trickles down into the river. Okay, from here, I think we should be heading back to Ipiales, so I'll see you guys when we're back. Welcome back to the city of Ipiales. We are currently in the center part of the city. This is the main square area, and the history of this square actually is that this is where Ipiales spread out from. This is where Ipiales grew from. This main square is where everything is based. Now, what you might not know is that if you look around me, Ipiales is very, very developed, and that's because Ipiales is actually a capital of a province here in Colombia. It's the capital of the province of Nariño, which is why you'll see along here like the University of Nariño and the government buildings of Nariño are all here. And you actually see here all the police buildings are actually right behind me. But to be honest, there isn't much to do in Ipiales. It's a small little town, sort of based on the hills. What we will do is we will check out that big church right behind me, the big red one. They're currently in mass, but we're about to go in. Actually, I think they're finished, so we're gonna go ahead and check that out. But to be fair, other than that, Ipiales is more famous for Las Lajas, the place that we went to just now, rather than the actual town itself. So let's go ahead and let's go check out the church. Well, I have to say, that is actually a really beautiful church. The outside facade, I love it, and the inside, it's nice, it's simple, and it serves as a church in the middle of the city. Now, of course, it's not the same as the sanctuary we saw today. The sanctuary is very different. It's located in the mountains next to a river. Of course, the scenery, the nature there is completely different, so you can't compare the two. But of course, this serves as Ipiales' sort of central church. Now, there are other cathedrals and churches in Ipiales, so this is just the main one that's right next to the main park, the main plaza, that's for sure. But there are other ones that are also really, really nice. But aside from that, I think that's going to be it for Ipiales. I know Ipiales is an amazing city. I love Ipiales actually because the people here are super, super friendly. I don't know why. Maybe it's just Colombia, maybe it's just once I cross the border, it's just an amazing country, amazing place. But I've genuinely started to love this city, and just take a day and stay here. It definitely is worth it. I think it's so interesting to see how beautiful this city is. And of course, Las Lajas today, that is totally going to be worth it in Colombia. It's one of the architectural wonders of Colombia is what it's called, and it truly is incredible. Like, the place is so, so beautiful. For me, it's not even the cathedral or the sanctuary itself, it's the nature around it, it's the waterfall, it's the park, it's all the surroundings, the river that runs through it. That's what makes Las Lajas incredible in my opinion. So with that, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video here in Ipiales, here in Colombia. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more food and travel videos. Make sure to stay tuned. I can't wait to share it with you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.